Hey guys, what's going on? So today in this video we'll be talking about why it's good to be selfish, and good selfishness versus bad selfishness, constructive versus destructive selfishness. So before we get into all that, I'd like to talk about some housekeeping things from about issues with viewers and stuff like that. Well, one viewer in particular. But anyway, yeah, no big deal. Let's just get into that. So someone made a comment on the Qigong versus Neigong video, asking about the difference between what I teach and what other people teach in regards to Qigong. And, well, if he would have paid attention, he would have noticed that the whole video of Qigong versus Neigong video was about what I teach, the differences between what I teach and what other people teach. So, yeah. So I ended up deleting the comment because the whole video was about that, and I didn't want to respond out of, I didn't want to respond negatively, shall I say. So, yeah, the two most important things in life are pay attention and put effort. If you paid attention, you would have noticed that the whole video was about the difference between what I teach and what other people teach, what's being taught elsewhere. So, and if you would have put effort into clicking on the links here that I have up for you guys, then he would have seen a clear explanation of everything that I teach on this on my Patreon here. So yeah. So secondly, the YouTube comments, like, I don't really care about. Well, I mean, it's like, I'm not complaining that you left a comment. I'm complaining that you don't put effort and pay attention. So yeah, pay attention and put effort. Leaving YouTube comments is cool. It's fine, Secondly, but this is the problem, this is the thing that I do have a problem with, is he went onto my personal Facebook profile and sent me a message and a friend request. This is a major violation of my boundaries, my personal boundaries. And I understand that people want to connect with me, but you must go through the proper channels in order to do that. So I've created a Facebook group specifically to talk with my students, and so you can go there. So you can go there if you'd like to talk with me. More in depth, other than the YouTube comments section. So yeah, that'll be down below. So then, so yeah, sending friend requests and messages is the wrong way to get my attention. And speaking of getting my attention, so I go and check this person out, and they send me a friend request. So I, like, for everybody who sends me a friend request, I automatically go on their profile and look at it and see if I want to actually be friends with them. But so, like, I mean, obviously, if you're a student, you shouldn't do that. You should not send me friend requests. So, but yeah, I looked on his profile, and I found a bunch of posts to showcase. I can't talk today. I found a bunch of posts showcasing his victim mentality. And so, if you're going to be on my channel, you need to knock that kind of crap out. You need to stop with the victim mentality. I had every reason to feel like a victim that which I did, and feel sorry for myself, but I evolved past that. I matured past that. Because growing up with a disability, growing up with visual impairment and things like that can leave you feeling very much like a victim. Like you don't, either like you don't know what to do, or basically like the world is against you kind of thing, because of this impairment, this challenge. So, but with doing this challenge, doing this self-transformation work, I ended up evolving past that, and it took a lot of work. It took a lot of discomfort. So, yeah. So this evolution comes with psychological maturity and psychological evolution, evolving past the need for victim mentality, because victim mentality is basically your unconscious mind's way of justifying like your life being the way it is. Basically, it's your unconscious mind justifying why your life is the way it is. And if your life is crap, if your life is miserable, then you're going to blame it on the elites. You're going to blame it on people whose lives aren't miserable and whose lives aren't whose lives are going great, So, and we call them the elite. So, anyway, yeah, this comes with psychological maturity, evolving past the need for victim mentality, and this is what this is about. And also another thing that helped me to overcome victim mentality was therapy. Was therapy, and working with a therapist, because the therapist is there to help you psychologically mature, to psychologically evolve, to think of things from a rational, logical perspective, and have your feelings, but not act on them, and not be destructive with them, which is what we're going to talk about with our video on selfishness today. So, yeah, let me see. Okay, so yeah, going back to my videos and stuff like that. So if you watch my videos, that makes me your teacher, not your friend. That makes you my student, not my friend. This is because this is how the relationship is set up. I'm on YouTube to teach, not to be friends with people. So yeah. So when this boundary gets crossed, then that's when your teacher develops an emotional agenda with you. Emotional agendas like this is not healthy. This is not healthy, and that's why my boundaries as your teacher are so important. Because when I'm teaching, I'm actually and when I teach and I interact with you guys, I'm genuinely looking out for your best interests, and I am, I'm teaching you what helped me, basically. But when you bring an emotional agenda into it, and cross the boundary of, teacher student or into a teacher friend or teacher teacher friend or more kind of relationship, that's when the boundary gets crossed. So at that point, I will be, I won't be wanting to teach you. I will want to, well, if you're a dude, I'll probably want to get your approval or something. And if you're a lady, if you're a girl, I'll probably want to, date you or whatever it is. I'm human just like you guys, so setting up that teacher-student boundary is important. So yeah. So let's get on to the lesson for today. Selfishness. Why is selfishness good? Well, first of all, we have to distinguish constructive selfishness versus destructive selfishness. So destructive selfishness is anything that hurts others. This can be emotional abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse, things like that. Anything that hurts others emotionally, physically, or psychologically is destructive selfishness. So, for example, like on Black Friday, people shoving people out of the way to get to the 60-inch TVs or whatever it is. That's destructive selfishness because you're hurting others to get what you want. So yeah. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And then, so destructive selfishness is any kind of abuse whatsoever. And the good kind of selfishness is empowering. Good selfishness empowers yourself and others, because when you put yourself first, you become an example to others of how to put themselves first. Because so often we don't really put ourselves first. We think of others first, and we want to please others, so we put ourselves on the back burner, and this is not the right way to be. Because I'm telling you, being that you are everything and that you are connected to everything, you are God, literally. Well, I should say your soul is God, so part of you, the soul part of you, is connected to everything in the universe. And so, so when you put your soul first, or when you put yourself first, then that's like empowering. That's not only empowering yourself, but it's empowering everybody else. So, yeah. So when you've put yourself first, you become an example to others. And this can include things like working out, doing qigong before, doing those things before taking care of others. Putting yourself first. Putting your own emotional health first, your own physical health first, that kind of thing. So now we'll talk about Odin. And Odin committed a very selfish act. He basically he sacrificed himself to his self. He sacrificed his lower self to his higher self. Your lower self is your unconscious stuff, and your higher self is your super conscious, your God self, your higher self, your the part of you that's connected to everything. So yeah, he hung he hung himself on the tree. He hung upon the world tree for 9 nights. That is not an invitation to do anything like that. But he basically, what he did is he hung by his ankles, because he hung upside down on the world tree, and he hung there for 9 nights. His lower self was wounded by the spear of Kundalini, and so the lower self is the unconscious, which is that's like the immature self. That's like the 3-year-old version of you. It's the immature self, the self that's just coming into being. It's all the things that you're not consciously aware of, things like that. So his lower self was wounded by the spear of Kundalini. Now, Kundalini is it says in the myth that he was wounded by a spear, but in mythology, a spear is symbolism of the Kundalini energy, that energy that rises up the spine. That's the spear. That's the Shakti. And when you shake a spear, you can hear it's the tip at the spear point that like moves around in the wind, and it creates like this whirling noise, and that vibration that actually, that's that Kundalini vibration that causes psychological maturity. So yeah, his lower self was wounded by the spear of Kundalini, and he sacrificed his lower self to his higher self. So, this is one of the things that we need to do in the self-transformation challenge. What we are basically doing there is sacrificing our lower self to our higher self. So, because what does it mean to die to yourself? It means to sacrifice the lower self to the higher self, the limited self to the limitless self. The limitless self, the soul and the higher self basically take over, and the lower self is sacrificed. So when you so this literally is dying to yourself. You can't become a god unless you can't be a human and a god at the same time. You can't be this limited human being with all these human problems and be a limitless god all at the same time. That just doesn't work. So what you need to do in order to become a god, you must sacrifice your lower self to your higher self, and your lower self to your soul. So this is what this is all about, guys. And I can explain, what this does and all that stuff. But it really, I can explain this stuff to you guys until I'm blue in the face. Like I could explain it for days on end, and you still wouldn't have a clue what it does. That's because this is the kind of knowledge that you get when you experience it. You will find out what it does when you experience it for yourself. I was the same way. I didn't really comprehend the full depth of what my teacher was teaching until I decided to do this stuff for myself. Until I decided, that this is something that I want to do. And I went ahead and gave him the money to do it. Paid him the money to go ahead and learn this. So if you want to really transform yourself and you want to really evolve, then go here. It's really simple. And the reason it costs what it costs is because there must be a cost. If I were to give this program away for free, people would not take advantage of it. They would not value of it. They would not value it as much as they would value a program that they paid a lot of money for. And $50 a month is not a whole lot of money, but it's it's not nothing at the same time. It's not nothing, so it's it's a good balance between affordable and a cost. That you're actually sacrificing something for this stuff, for this information, and so you must sacrifice for spiritual evolution. Spiritual evolution requires the sacrifice of your lower self. So that's just how that works. So Odin sacrificed his lower self to his higher self. He took up the runes. He says, "Shrieking, I took them. Shrieking, I took them." I can relate to that. There's been quite a few weeks doing this stuff where I was in pain. I was in emotional pain. I was, and all the shit that I have been avoiding my whole life just came to the surface. It just, popped up. It said, "Okay, we don't need to hold on to this anymore." Great. So it dropped all my garbage onto me. And so I became conscious of all my garbage, all my, all my victim mentality, all my insecurities, all my psychological programming. If you want to really work past your insecurities, which is another great thing this did for me, then, go here. Self-transformation challenge is no joke, guys. My fellow students who learned this from my instructor, they're starting to see huge changes in themselves. They're having uncomfortable feelings and all this. They're having, they're dealing with the issues that they haven't dealt with since childhood. So yeah, it's very upsetting. It's very uncomfortable, but by the end of it, you will find you won't need anything else. You won't need anybody else. You won't need the love from others. You won't need any other person. You will be self-sufficient. Emotionally self-sufficient. That means that you love yourself unconditionally. You accept yourself unconditionally. You gain... I can't put it into words, guys. You gain such an incredible love and respect for yourself, and it's I can't tell you guys all the amazing things this has done for me. My self-esteem has improved. My relationships with others have improved. I don't I don't rely on other people's love. I don't rely on other people's validation to feel validated within myself. You know, I don't rely on other people's love to feel validated, to feel loved. You know, I love myself, and when you learn how to do when you learn how to do this stuff, you will develop an incredible love and acceptance for yourself. But once again, that, like, you have to work through your crap. So, you know, after you work through your crap, then you'll become more loving and accepting of yourself. And another thing that this has done for me, and something that therapy has also done for me, is learning how to love myself through my emotions. You know, learning how to be comfortable with all my emotions, because it happens that in society we are conditioned to not show emotions, to not be to not process our emotions, to not acknowledge them and deal with them as they come up. So this has really helped me in doing that. You know, this challenge here, this self-transformation challenge that I teach. Yeah, it's powerful stuff, guys. It's really powerful. So what else? Yeah, he took up the runes. Odin took up the runes, screaming, and that's, you'll have nights like that. You'll have weeks like that if you go through. You know, if you have as much emotional stuff to work through as I did, you will have, you know, a lot of time to, you know, process that. But what that does, guys, is it releases this lightning energy in the heart. It releases the lightning energy, which is the lightning energy that I talk about is the infinite energy from the soul. So that lightning energy protects the soul. So whenever you do this stuff, you're telling the soul that it doesn't need to be protected anymore, and you're basically dropping all the traumas from childhood and things like that, and you're letting the soul process them. And this is what the emotional releases and the emotional nights and, you know, crying nonstop are all about. The soul is processing. The soul is mourning and going through things. So, you know, you will, the dark night of the soul is yeah, I've gone through that, and that's what this is all about. It's all about releasing that stuff so that you can have the energy, because when you release that stuff, the energy is now free to go into your body and make you an immortal, make you what it does is it rejuvenates the cells, it heals the cells, it heals everything in your body, heals your energy, it heals you psychologically, emotionally, physically, mentally, all that stuff. So that's what that's about. That's what this is about. So let me just get a drink real quick. So yes, so you really have to be willing to die to yourself. Your lower self has to be willing to die to your soul. And basically, it's not really dying, it's just surrendering. That's the key word, surrendering. when your lower self surrenders to your soul, then everything lines up, because you're operating out of your soul's happiness, your soul's desire. And so you might do things that may seem selfish, but really it's just your soul wanting to accomplish what it wants to accomplish. And so when you do that, the whole world, lines up for you. Like, everything in your life lines up for you when you follow your soul desire. So if you want to know how to do that, go here. I have a beautiful midday meditation that helps you discover your soul desire. And like everything that I do, everything that I teach is all about finding the soul desire. And guys, everything that I'm telling you guys to do, go here, sign up for the self-transformation challenge. Everything that I'm telling you guys to do, I've already done. So whether it's, quitting drugs, quitting alcohol, quitting caffeine, quitting cigarettes, all that stuff, I've already done it, yeah. So yeah, this stuff, my whole channel is meant for your empowerment. The whole point of this channel and everything that I teach is for your empowerment. So yeah. So we really need to drop the victim mentality, and victim mentality I equate to, because I always tell you your soul is God, so I equate victim mentality to God whining and complaining about his creation victimizing him. Does that make any sense? No. God is in control. You are in control of your life. You are in control of your life. So, and so you have the power to perform good magic or positive magic on yourself, or negative magic on yourself, as one of my other mentors likes to say. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna go too much longer, but yeah. So basically, your soul is God. So when you have this childish victim mentality, that's your human self. That's your limited human self, playing the role of a victim, and not seeing how, if you're a victim, you're really not seeing how much control you do have over your life. For example, I want you to, if you're one of these people who's a Alex Jones follower, or conspiracy theorist, or has this victim mentality, I want you to go ahead, take out a piece of paper, and write down everything that you have control over. Write down everything that you have control over. And then I want you to, once you've done that, I want you to flip the paper over and write down how the elites are controlling you. Okay? Write down exactly how you're being controlled by others. And I want you to really look at that and see, does that have any effect on my life, on my practical day-to-day life? Yes or no? And see, really honestly go through it, examine it, honestly examine it, and see what See what affects your life and what doesn't affect your life. My guess is that most of the stuff that you're busy complaining about with your victim mentality does not even actually affect your own life. So, my friends, you have more control over your life than you give yourself credit for. You have absolute control over your life. And this is a visually impaired man telling you this. This is someone who struggled with health issues, who struggled with all kinds of mental, emotional, physical, psychological issues. Yeah. If I feel more self-empowered than you do, being that I am actually more limited than you, if I feel more empowered than you do, and I'm more limited than you do just because of my disabilities, what does that say about you? You know, if you are a fully functional adult with no disabilities whatsoever, then I have no sympathy for you. I have no tolerance for your victim mentality. It's time to grow up. It's time to mature. So, take that as you will. Alright, guys, and so, if you really want to grow up and to mature, go here. 55 bucks a month. Just try it out for 30 days. Try it out for a month. See if you like it. If you don't like it, then unsubscribe. No big deal. If you do like it, then if you do like it, then keep on doing it. And I will, as soon as I have the first few patrons on there, I will, 90 days after you join, I will release the part 2, the phase 2. I'll release the phase 2. So, yeah. The phase 2 is working with the 5 elements, and the 5 elements. Phase 1 is working with Kundalini Yoga, meditation, and Qigong. And this is no ordinary Qigong, guys. This is the Qigong that it's actually, I'm starting to now call it like Shen Gong, because it's the Shen is the lightning energy in the heart. So we're really working with that lightning energy. So we're working with that Shen energy. So yeah, again, this is stuff that you won't find anywhere else. It's powerful stuff, guys. So just check the time here. So yeah, we're almost at 40 minutes, so I'm gonna end it here. Anything else I should mention? Yeah, guys, so if you are on the channel, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and let me see if I can do this. Like and subscribe and all that. Click the bell notification. It really helps the channel out. So if you enjoy the channel, then please go ahead and do that. Like and subscribe and share and all that stuff. Also, leave a comment for anything that you want me to teach in the future. Any kind of video topic suggestions are welcome. Also, I'm having a 30% off sale, 25% off actually, for my Vedic astrology services. So if you want that, go ahead and go to, where is it? Vincent.thunderwizard.com right there in the white box. So yeah. I suppose that's about it, guys. So we will talk to you next time. Peace, guys.